So I've got another up close video for you today. This one is the, it's either going to be called Candy Tower or Sweet Tower from Tonic Studios, and obviously the title will reflect what the actual name is. And usually in these up close videos I show you the up close look at the die set and then some of the samples that I've made, and then with a construction on the end of the video. However, it's quite an in-depth construction, so I've just done it as a separate video. So if you want the construction of how to put this together, there's going to be a completely separate video showing you exactly how to put it together. And I'm pretty sure it's going to come with instructions. There's like a document that we've all been given to help us put them together, so I presume that's going to be printed on the inside of the packaging. But if it's not, I will make sure that the PDF download thing is like linked below the video, but I'm sure they will include it in the packaging. But it's simple to put together. There's just quite a few steps to get it to work, and I will show you what it actually makes before I show you the dies, because it makes a bit more sense then. So this is what it actually makes. This is a Christmassy version that I did out of craft card and gold and stuff. So it makes this sweet tower, and it has this little drawer insert for how you get the sweets out of it, and then this is the mechanism for how you refill the tower as well, and it just all twiddles round and unfolds so that you can easily fill this up with more sweets or whatever you want to put inside it. So you can just easily fill that up, and then the way that the top bit closes is it goes round in a circle and creates this flower. So if this is flap number 1, we want flap number 2 to curl around flap number 1. Then so this is number 2, this one's going to be number 3, and we want that one's piece to come next to that one, number 2, so it's going to twiddle round like that. Then if this is number 3, this one's number 4, number 3's tab is here, so number 4 needs to end up over here. So again, you just sort of push it round and it makes that little flower shape, which keeps it completely closed, which is really nice. And then obviously you just fill it up, and then you've got your little sweets that'll come out of it. I've got 4 examples that I've done of the sweet towers. 3 of them are kind of completely different themed. This one's actually using the panels from the die set, although I've added in a few Christmassy things to make it a more of a Christmassy design. But you can do these for like any occasion really. I've at the end, after I've shown you the die set, I'll show you my other samples. I've done a lighthouse, a Halloween version, and a little spaceship as well, which I thought was really cool. But yeah, there's loads of different things that you can turn this into. I was thinking a windmill would be great. One of my original ideas was to try and make it look like an Easter Island head, and like you have its nose coming out here, and then this would be its mouth opening. But I thought it was a bit too involved, so I didn't give it a go in the end. And I had this one made just out of craft card, just the plain base of it, and I had it sitting on my shelf, and I don't know, but from the angle I was looking at it, this top piece, it was really reminding me of like Sherlock Holmes' hat, so I was thinking you could try and do something cool like that with it as well. But I'm sure there are loads of other ideas that I've not thought of that you could do with this as well. So yeah, loads of different things you can do with it, and you can use all the panels to create cards with. I've done one card using this tiny little die, but yeah, loads of different things you can do with it. So let's show you the die set. It's an enormous die set. It's going to be one of like a really large die set, the sort of the largest size that Tonic do. And you have all of the pieces to create the whole mechanism and outside base for the box, plus some decorative panels as well. And in my construction video I tell you exactly how many of each piece that you'll need, where you need to put the adhesive and everything. So it looks kind of complicated seeing it all like this, but it is pretty simple to put together. It's just a little bit time consuming because you want to make sure you do the steps in the right order to get it to work and to be really easy to put together, because if you do them in the wrong order, it is a little bit tricky. You can fiddle around with it and get it to work, but it's a bit trickier than doing it in the right order. So what shall I show you first? Well, I mean, this piece creates the main base of the box, and you need 2 of them. Then you have this piece is the little tray that pulls out, and these bits fold round, and that's the little tray mechanism. You have this odd shaped piece, which is the lid, and you do 4 of them, and that creates your little mechanism for how it all closes together. And then To make this a more solid piece, and because you have the opening up here, you actually stick this lid part to the top of this base of the box, but for one of mine I haven't, because it goes along with the like theme that I've made it around, but you do stick that onto the top of the box. Then you also, try to get that in the right place, you also have this piece which is the base of your box, and this piece which is the like the panel that sticks on the drawer that comes out. So that's the drawer that comes out. This will stick on the front of that, and this is the piece that you cut into one of your side panels to give you the slots where this piece sits into, and also the opening where your sweets will come out as well. And then this piece here and this rectangle here are what you use inside the sweet tower to hide the mechanism, so that your sweets don't interfere with this part of the opening mechanism. So everything you need is included in here, and then they've crammed the rest of the die set full of all the different pieces to decorate with. So you have 2 words in this die set. You've got this little one that says yummy, and it's got the little rectangle to cut it out as well, because it's a verso die, so it'll cut into your card. And then you also have this one, also a verso die with the edge as well, which says something sweet with a question mark. And obviously these two both have the separate outside cutting edges, so if you don't want the words but you still want to add a decorative element, you've got the basic shape die to just cut out patterned paper, or some paper that you've stamped and coloured and all sorts of stuff. Then the main panels of the die set, you have these 2 gorgeous ones with the outside edge that are covered in sweet design. So you've got like a lollipop, you've got like sort of a humbug looking one, longer sweets, a little square sweet, and then there's little stars dispersed in there as well. And the waist pieces of the stars are really useful. That one I was just showing you, I used the waist pieces on the top of the lid. So there's loads of different ways you can use the bits that have popped out to decorate. You could even snip out some of the sweets as well, like this long one would be really easy to snip out. The lollipop you could snip out as well. There's a round sweet on here you could snip out, and you get the 2 separate panels, because obviously on one of the sides you're going to have the opening flap of where the sweets come out. So the way they've done it, they've split it into 2 sections, so that on that 4th side you don't have the bottom piece, because that's where the opening would be. But you could cut that panel directly into the tab portion that would sit on the front, so you can carry the whole design down it if you want to. But the way they've done it this way, so that you've got more versatility with your panels. And then as well as this panel with the sweet decoration, you also have all of these like half pieces, which you use the outside edge and put these 2 pieces in together, and they will create another pattern for you, which is a really cool funky looking pattern. I really do like this one actually. I've used it on my spaceship as well, but I was snipping parts out of this because I thought it looked like little wiggly sort of beams coming down. But yeah, so you use those 2 together like that to get the right sort of angles, and they fit inside the outside edge. Or obviously you can just use the outside edge for patterned paper or something you've stamped, anything you want to really, or you don't even have to decorate the sides, you can leave them plain, like I have on a couple of mine actually, because I've added other die cuts onto it instead of using the decorative panels. Then, so as well as those pieces, you also get the same idea for the bottom section too. So you have that outside edge, and then you would fit both of these in like that to get the continuation of the pattern. And I've just made a card using just one of these dies as well, so you know, you can really they're really versatile the way they've cut the pattern in half and everything. Where did that come from? Oh, there. Yeah, so that is the sort of decorative panels that you've got for the sides of the boxes, and you also get all of these little rectangles, which are another way for decorating the side of the box, or you can use them to cover the join between the two panels. If you wanted to make it look more like it's a seamless pattern going down, you can actually use the largest one of these to kind of hide the join and have a little band going around the box, or you could just cut a strip of card if you wanted to as well, but that can go there, and these can go all the way up this top section of the box as well. They're all different sizes. At first I was like, why have they given us like 4 of the same die? But then I realised that they are all different sizes, so they can go all the way up the box of that top portion and create a stripy effect if you want to as well. I've done something similar on one of mine, but I actually just used strips of card that I had cut because I've made it into a lighthouse. You could do that effect for the lighthouse, but I wanted the pattern to come all the way down the bottom, and there isn't 1 or 2 that would fit down there that go all the way across, so I just decided to use strips of card that I had cut with my guillotine. Then, to decorate the lid portion, you also have different pieces as well. You have this layer, so if you're using patterned papers and things, you can cut that whole sort of layer out, or you also have different patterns that fit inside that. So you have 2 different patterns for that bottom piece, a stripy one and then the circly one as well, and then you also have 2 different patterns to go in that top drop section as well. So you've got that little stripy one and a little swirl too, so those will fit in that section, and you can either cut this out of patterned paper, or you can cut it out of card and cut these into it, or you could cut that as solid, because you also get the outside edges for these 2 as well. So if you just wanted to cut 2 separate little decorative panels and put them on the 2 portions, you could do that as well, or you can sort of mat and layer them up too. I think this one looks like a little water droplet. So you could have you could do a card where this is like raindrops coming out of a cloud or something, or you could do it as like petals of a flower. So loads of different things you can use these funny sort of shapes for as well. So you get those pieces too, and then finally the last decorating pieces are 4 different ones that all fit on the rest of the lid. So the way the lid comes out, this sort of protruding part, if you managed to get hold of kit number 25 of the Tonic Craft kit, that had a lantern die set in it, and it had a similar kind of element to the die set where this sort of pops out like this, and you have 4 different pieces to decorate that portion. So on here, that one says tasty, and then that one is stripy, so you have those 2, which are these 2, and that's a straight stripe that I'd used on that one, but you also get a diagonal stripe as well. So well, it's actually a little bit curved, it's a curvy diagonal, so that matches the stripy design that you've got for the rest of the lid too. And then you also get the plain edged one, so if you're just doing patterned papers, or again something that you've maybe collaged or stamped or inked, you can just use those panels to cut the pieces out as well. So that is all of the different decorative elements and all the pieces you get in the die set. There's a load of different pieces in here, and I'm sure that if you love experimenting with your 3D die sets and stuff, I'm sure you could probably incorporate this die, you know, with the opening and the draw mechanism into other die sets that you have as well. Like, it might even go into the kaleidoscope boxes if you wanted to try it in there, or you know, there's loads of different Tonic 3D die sets that I'm sure this will actually work with. You can also use the other pieces of this die set as well to create little elements on your cards. Like, you could have use this sort of flap element as an interactive flap on a normal card, and you could have a little character behind it. You could use it as a door, you could use it as a flap that flaps down or upwards. So there's loads of different things you can use the other dies in this die set for as well. So I'll show you my samples that I've done now. So this is my Christmassy one. The holly leaves and berries are from the large Winter Wonderland gift box die set, and oh no, they're from the middle-sized one actually, the holly. this spriggy piece is from the large Winter Wonderland die set, and the bells are from the middle-sized Winter Wonderland die set as well, and the Merry Christmas is from one of those woodland tag die sets that Tonic brought out this year too. And then the stars are the fall away pieces from the panels on this one. And for this one I kept it really sort of simple, made it a bit more masculine, and did the Christmassy theme. And I cut all the panels out of gold, and then I put them onto a sort of scripty, old ledgery kind of patterned paper, and then I used a little bit of caramel pecan Aquaflow with the Midas Touch Gold Sparkly Aquaflow, and I coloured them, all the sweets in on the panels, just to make them stand out a little bit more and give it a little bit of a different look. And I also used that behind the tasty die cuts on the top as well. So that is my sort of Christmassy version, which is basically just using the die set as it is really. Oh, and here, this little swirl is also one of the fall away pieces out of the large lollipop that's underneath here. So I thought I'd add that on as part of the holly. And I also wrapped some of the natural twine that Tonic do as well, and use that to attach the little sort of gift tag banner onto it as well. So that's my Christmas version. Then I have done a Halloween version, which I think looks really cool and spooky. This was just a Halloween decoration that was bought, and all of the other ones that are flat, all of the die cuts are Tonic Halloween die cuts, and this is the one that I show in the construction video of how to put this one together, and I explain more about how I've decorated it and everything. And I also had some like little 3D bugs. That's a little ant there on this side, there's a fly here, and then on this one there's a 3D spider as well, and this is some like black Halloweeny looking tinsel. But I kept the decoration for this one pretty simple. Like the background of it, I inked it with Distress Oxides, did a bit of splattering with Nouveau Shimmer powders, and added a bit of stamping on it as well. So you don't have to use all the decorative panels that they give you in the die set. You can literally just use white card and colour it yourself. And then for the inside portion of this one, I used black to create the drawer element and the hidden inside bit. And I've also put some plastic spiders in here, and I'm going to put some chocolate eyeballs in there as well. And then it's funny because the flap says trick or treat, and then you can either get an eyeball or a plastic spider in there. So that's my Halloween version. Then I did a lighthouse. I don't know if it really looks like a lighthouse, but I think it does. It does to me anyway. And I just kept it really simple. I cut the top from black, I cut the base from white, and then I just took a sheet of, I think it's cherry red, the Craft Perfect, and I just cut it into, I think, centimetre or 1.5 centimetre strips. I just cut the entire sheet into that, and then I just used them to create a stripy pattern on the sides of the boxes, so it was really simple to do. And then to give it a little bit more of a weathered look, I took some of the Metro Grey Nuva Hybrid ink pad and a little blending brush, and just inked the edges, so it kind of gives a little bit of inking to it. It's not that noticeable, but you know, it just gives that more of a little bit of an aged look. And then the elements from here, so the anchor, the boat with the seagull, the word seize the day, and the little compass, is from the Celebration frames, the seasidey version of that as well. And I used the Something Sweet that came in the die set too. So I've only really used the base dies from the die set plus that sentiment one, and everything else is just cutting strips of cardstock and using other dies that you have as well. So you really don't have to use all the decorative dies from the die set. And then again, you've got, I added one of the compasses in there as well. And the card I have used for these two and the other one that I haven't shown you yet is all 300 GSM white cards. So even if you're using thicker card, it works really nicely. And this one is Tonic's craft card, which I think is 250. It could be 300, but I think it's 250. So that's just the usual craft card that I used for that one. Then my final one, which I think is my favourite, I don't know, I couldn't help but see a little spaceship and like the tractor beam or the light beam that comes down from a spaceship. I just thought that was a really cool idea, so I just had to make it. So the whole tower looks like this, where you have the little spaceship with the aliens in, and then this is its like light beam coming down, and one of the little aliens has beamed itself down already. But I left it so that the lid isn't stuck on, because then I drew little legs on it, so it's actually like the little spaceship can fly off. I thought it's more good for a kid, really. And then it kind of makes it easier to fill it, because you can just put it straight in underneath the lid. And then to decorate this one, again, I cut this all out of white card. For the light, the sort of greeny yellowy light coming down, I used just like the Nouveau ink blending tools, and I used lime, is it just called lime green? Lime burst and rubber duck of the Nouveau ink pads, and I just really messily inked it, because I think that messy look where you can see little half circles from the applicator, I think that gives more of like a smoky light kind of a look. And then I took some of the honeydew Nouveau embellishment mousse, and I took a wide paintbrush and had it dry and sort of dry brushed it down to give that kind of streaky sort of a look, and then I also splashed some onto it as well. Then I used the soft mint metallic Nouveau drops, which came out in the Woodland Walk collection, and the silver crystals glitter drops, which came out in the Merry and Bright collection, to add some sort of floating orby things coming down. And then I used that die, which, you know, you put the two together to create an extra panel, and I snipped out parts of it, and I cut it from vellum, snipped out parts to give that wiggly effect, and I think it looks like kind of like laser beams or lights or something coming down from the spaceship, so I thought that looked really cool. Yeah, and then for the top of the spaceship, I used the little matte and layer die for that triangle to cut an aperture into all four of the top pieces, and I'd cut this out of 300 GSM white card, and then I used the Emerald Seas Nouveau hybrid, well, Nouveau alcohol pens to colour this central section to give it a green look, and then the grey, I used the grey markers from Nouveau to colour the grey sections as well, and I also used the metallic silver Nouveau pens to draw the little legs and draw some little dots on here. And before I coloured it in, I drew some circles with a black pen, and this is the silver crystals glitter, again, the glitter drops, just and they're picking up the sort of turquoise colour that I coloured the main section of the spaceship. And I also used some silver moon dust glitter drops on the top petally section as well. And then these little aliens are actually lawn fawn aliens, but I thought, because you have the different sizes in this set, I thought it would be cool to use the tiny aliens in the spaceship and then the bigger one down here, because it looks like, you know, they've beamed down, so it's bigger down the bottom. I thought that was cool. But yeah, that's just my sort of funny, quirky one, because I had quite a few like quirky ideas to do, but I thought this was my favourite out of the quirky ideas, so I did that one in the end. And then finally I also did a card, just a really quick and simple card where I used that small wiggly patterned one, and I just cut it once, turned it, cut it again, turned it back, cut it again, turned it and cut it again, just down to make a strip down the side of the card. I then stuck double-sided adhesive behind that, and then took some strips of cardstock that I just cut into random widths of different strips, and then I placed them all into a stripy pattern behind, and then used ice white glitter over the top, so you can still see the stripes, but you've got the glittery effect over the top. And then I used the same cardstock and glitter for the sentiment, and I made it say have a yummy birthday, because you had the yummy word in the die set as well. So I hope you enjoyed this up close look at the it's either called Candy Tower or Sweet Tower die set. I think it's such a cool, ingenious, clever die set. It's like, I don't understand how the designers just think up these cool designs. It's crazy, and how that it worked, and they thought about the inside of it and how to stop the sweets from like interfering with this little opening and stuff by having that extra section inside of it. So clever. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you're interested in the construction of these, I show how to make this box in my separate construction video. I usually put it on the end of the video as well, but I think the construction video is like half an hour long, so I thought instead of making this video like nearly an hour long, I'll just do them 2 separate ones this time. Yeah, so thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you again in the next video.